You get so clear on what you want that you can feel the emotion of when it happens. When you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you're changing your biology. Because the stronger the emotion you feel, the
Dr. Joe Dispenza talk about the law of attraction and manifestation. Now, we can find an infinite amount of information on the law of attraction and manifestation online. There is no shortage of information, but yet so many people are still struggling with manifestation. So many people are still not happy with their lives and not living an abundant life, not getting all the good that they know they deserve. So what are we doing wrong and what can we change? Now, I'm going to explain to you in simple terms what exactly manifestation is and what you need to do to manifest the type of life you actually want. Now, I'm sure that you've heard this same line a million times from other creators, but I want to break it down into something a lot more practical, more tangible, more understandable, because a lot of people will allude to you need to visualize, you need to live in the moment, you need to act as if it's already true, and you need to create the magnetic field, and you need to be on the right frequency and all of those things. But truly, what does that really mean? How do we really do that? Because we do all of those things as best as we know how to, but then nothing in our lives change. And we need to know what exactly do we need to do. So for the next 10 minutes, I want you to completely forget what you know about law of attraction, what you've learned about law of attraction, and just focus on what I'm about to explain to you. Now, first of all, I want to explain the memory. Now, all of us have got a memory. That's part of our biology. That's part of our function. We cannot function normally if we don't have a memory. Now, what is the function of the memory? One can say that it's important to be able to remember your cell phone number or your email address or whatever, or your own name. But all of those things, you can write those down. If you do not have memory, you can write it down, and every time you need to know or you need to tell somebody your name or your telephone number or whatever it is, then you can just look on your phone or look on the piece of paper or whatever it is, right? So why do you need a memory? What is the true purpose of a memory? If you think about it, everything that you experience in your life, you have a memory of. And everything you are not experiencing in your life, you also have a memory of that lack. So if you don't have $1 million, you have a vivid idea and memory in your mind that you do not have that money. If you do have that money, then you know exactly where that money is. You know exactly what it feels like to have that money. So whatever it is that you currently have in your life, whether it's lack or prosperity and abundance, either way, you have a memory of it. You can explain your life to me in detail, exactly as it is right now. And the reason being is because you've got a memory of that. So if something had to wipe your memory immediately, you would not be able to tell me what your name is, who you are, whether you are human, what language you speak. You wouldn't know how to speak. You wouldn't know anything. You would not even know what this place that you find yourself in is. You would not know anything if somebody had to remove your memory completely. Now think about this. If you go out of your house and you go somewhere, you go to work or you go to wherever, you can go back to your house only because you've got a memory of that. You know exactly where it is, you know how to travel there, you know what it looks like, you know what it feels like, you know what it looks like outside, inside, you know everything about the place where you live. Now, let's assume you go out of your house, you go somewhere else, and somebody wipes the memory of where you live, only that memory. Then immediately, that house will cease to exist, cease to manifest in your life. Why? Because you cannot return there. You don't know where it is. You don't know what it looks like. You don't know what it feels like. So you cannot return to that home, even though you might own that house, or you've got a rental contract, or whatever the case might be, but you will not be able to return to that place. And therefore that will cease to manifest in your life immediately. And that's with anything. If you have a partner right now, and you separate yourself, and somebody wants your memory of who your partner is, that person will cease to exist in your reality, cease to manifest in your reality immediately. So can you see that whatever is locked up in our memories is what reflects back to us in our outside world? So there is absolutely no way that we can manifest and continue to manifest things in our lives if we did not have a memory. So that is the sole purpose of a memory. It's to create and maintain this reality that we find ourselves in. So your reality, the reflection that you get, is directly linked to your memory. Now, we call it all kinds of things like limiting beliefs and beliefs about poverty and beliefs about riches and beliefs about success and abundance. But whether that is a belief or not, it's because of the memory of that belief. It's the fundamental, foundational purpose of a memory. So if the memory was not there, we could not continue to manifest things in our lives. So even the lack of something, as I mentioned, you know that you don't have that specific thing. And you know that because you've got a memory of that. You know that thing was not there yesterday, and you know that thing was not there the day before. If you are single and you're struggling with manifesting a relationship, you know what it feels like to be single. You know exactly what your life looks like. You've got a memory of that. If let's say you don't have a partner, you are single, and I ask you, what does it feel like to be single? Explain to me the dynamics. Then you would be able to explain to me in detail how your life looks at the moment, how it looked the day before, the current day, and the day before that. And most probably how it's going to look in the future, because you know exactly how that looks. If you don't have money, and I explain to me what it feels like not to have enough money, then you can explain to me in detail what it feels like. You know what it felt like the month before when you struggled to pay your rent. You know what it felt like the month before that when you struggled to pay your rent. And you will probably know what it will feel like in the future not to be able to pay your rent. So we need to eliminate the memory of the things that we don't want in life. But unfortunately, it's not that easy. You cannot just instantly wipe that memory from your mind. If it was, then we could have switched on the things that we did want and switch off the things that we don't want. But unfortunately, we don't work that way, because the memory consists of these neural pathway connections that forms over time through repetition, through seeing something. And the more emotion is connected to the event that we see, the quicker, the faster those connections form. So if something makes you feel very good or very bad, those connections seem to form very quickly. So it needs less repetition. Something sometimes can happen once. If it's a bad experience and it truly affects us, then it can happen once and we'll retain that memory. But certain things would need more repetitions because it's got a lower emotional charge to it. Now, if you have a memory of what it feels like to not have enough money, that means those neural connections is already as strong as something would be that was caused by a traumatic event. So those neural connections are very strong. You know exactly what it feels like. So now you need to eliminate that memory. And the only way you can eliminate that memory is through repetition of the opposite to what you know. Because remember, your mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It cannot distinguish, but it will tend to believe more in the things that it perceives through the five senses, as opposed to what is imagined. So it would need 1,000 times more repetition because it's something that's not real. It cannot be perceived before it manifests, and therefore you need to now eliminate those memories with repeating certain things in your mind, visualizations, but 1,000 times more than what you are currently experiencing. Because in time, your subconscious mind, because it cannot distinguish, it will start to become confused between what it is actually the reality and what is now imagined. Because the more you imagine these things, the stronger those neural connections become. And you cannot have the memory of two things simultaneously as the present moment. You cannot have abundance, let's say financial abundance, and poverty at the same time. You can have a memory of what it felt like to be poor in the past. But what you perceive now, what you know now as the truth, that can only be one. You cannot be poor and rich at the same time. You cannot have that memory to and know what it feels like to have both of those at the same time. But at the moment, you might only have the one, the lack of whatever it is that you want to manifest. So you need to start replacing that. Now we can go into a lot more detail, which I'm not going to do in this video, but in certain types of brain wave states, it is much easier to reprogram those memories with something else. Now, here's another thing that I want you to focus on that is super important. If you think about your memories right now, everything that you know currently in your life, if you sit and think, if you close your eyes and you think about, let's say you're not in your house or in your home where you stay now. Let's say you're not there and you're somewhere else, and you close your eyes and you visualize your house. Then you see it through your eyes as if you are standing in that house. If you try to visualize something that you've never experienced before, then you'll always see yourself as a third person in that space. You can try this and you'll notice that it's true. Whenever you try and visualize yourself in a position, either with money or in a specific car or in a specific house or in a specific relationship or whatever it is that you've never experienced before, you'll always see yourself mentally as a third person, observing yourself. But if you think about something that you've experienced before, then it's always through your own eyes. You don't see yourself, you see the environment where you are at. And that's why it is extremely important to put yourself in a position where you can experience that in real time. If you want to manifest a brand new car, go to the dealership and go and test drive that car. You might feel out of place. You might not have the confidence to go to the high-end car dealership and go and test drive the car. But nobody cares what you look like in that moment. Nobody cares about that. Just go there and test drive that car. If you want to buy the house, go to that house if it's in the market and go and walk through that house. Touch the surfaces, touch the walls, look at everything, take in every single bit of detail that you can, as much as you can, and stay there for as long as you can. And don't do this once, because in time, those neural connections will start to prune apart. They will fade. So you need to keep that alive. So go and do that over and over and over again. If you want to be in a relationship, you need to live as if that person is already in your space. And we've heard this 1,000 times, but set the table for them. Prepare extra food, do whatever it takes, but see yourself with somebody else and put everything in place that will facilitate somebody else living with you or being in a relationship with this person. Go and talk to more people. Act as if. You cannot just sit in isolation in your house or in your home and just sit on the couch and visualize everything and expect that emotion, the emotional charge that is needed, is going to be strong enough. Because it's not about just some spiritual fantasy hoo-ha. It is all about the memory. Your mind on a biological level need to have a memory of the thing that you want. And you need to do everything in your power to create that memory as if it is the reality. Because in time, as I said, your mind will become confused. Then it will start to believe more in what is not the reality than what is currently the reality. And then what happens is your mind then sees that, listen, this is the reality. I need to prepare for this. So what it does is it then starts controlling your unconscious thoughts and actions to align you with the actual reality. People always think that if I start manifesting, I'm starting to visualize, and then I need to be on the lookout for all of these opportunities and coincidences. You don't need to. Those will come to you through your unconscious actions. You will start doing certain things that you would have never done before on a micro level and not realize that those slight, subtle changes in your action, in the actions you take and the decisions you make are now leading you to the new reality that you are visualizing in your mind. So make that real, make it a memory. And as soon as you start experiencing that, you'll notice that the memory you have of what you don't want in your current reality, in the present, will fade. That will be replaced. So let's say you don't have money and you do this process and you create this memory and your unconscious actions start moving you towards money, and now you manifest money in your present reality. Then you'll still have the memory of what it feels like to be poor, but the memory of what you have will be in the past. You will know that your present is not that reality that it used to be. Poverty does no longer exist in your current reality. It only exists in your past, and money and abundance exists now in your present. So then if I asked you, once you transform yourself to that person, that personality that experienced that reality, once that manifests, and I ask you, what does it feel like to have an abundance of money? You can tell me exactly what it feels like right now, because you've got a memory then, a solid memory of that in this very moment. And that is manifestation. So forget about all the techniques, forget about drinking water and saying a prayer and all of those things. You can do that, sure. But when it comes to truly manifesting certain things, you need to have the discipline and the faith to know that this is exactly how the law of attraction and manifestation work. And do not deviate from the practice of putting yourself in those situations over and over and over again and visualizing a new reality stronger than what you are currently experiencing. Forget about your current reality. That is just the manifestation of the past that's now manifesting in the present. It's based on what you've learned, the memory you made in the past, and that is now continuing to manifest. Because everything we have in our lives now, whether lack or prosperity, abundance, those things, everything did not manifest once and now they just stay there, they just linger there. They continue to manifest on a second to second basis. But if I remove that memory instantly of whichever thing that is in your life right now, that thing will cease to manifest in your life immediately. Even if you stay in where you stay, just to use this as an example, even if you live in a house and you don't go out, you currently are standing in that house. And while you're standing there, I eliminate the memory of that house being your place of residency. What would happen? You would feel out of place. You would feel like this is not my place. So immediately you will go out. You will get out. You will form the vehicle of your own life to seize that manifestation. It's not magically that this house will cease to exist in your life. You will then remove yourself from that. So think about this. The reason why you don't remove that is because you have a memory of that being yours. So everything that you want in your life that you do not experience at the moment, you are removing yourself from that. If you want to be a successful business owner, the reason why you're not is because you are keeping yourself. You are removing yourself because you know that's not me. That's not who I am. I'm not a successful business owner. I don't own a business. And that's why you don't put yourself in that position. You remove yourself. If you lack a relationship, it's because you have a memory and say, that's not me. I don't have a relationship. I don't have a partner. And that's why you remove yourself from that situation. And money is no different. If you don't have money, you don't put yourself where the money is. You remove yourself from that and say, well, that's not me. It's not who I am. So we need to replace that memory. So forget about everything you've learned about manifestation, all the techniques and all the this and that, and focus on, first of all, what you want, and then focus on solving the problem. Focus on how can I put myself in that position to absorb as much of that as possible so that I can form a memory. How can I repeat this as much as possible to myself? And then sit back and relax, because your unconscious micro actions will lead you to that reality. And that is inevitable. That will happen. That's a guarantee. So that's all you need to know about law of attraction. However, if you want to go in a lot more detail and really master manifestation, then I've got a short course that you can do online in your own time, and that is designed meticulously to transform you from where you are now to where you experience what you want to experience, the abundance in whichever area of your life. Because I've got 8 meticulously designed, short 10-minute guided meditations that is designed to eliminate the old memories of who you are and replace them with the new memories of who you want to be and what you want to experience. So I would really encourage you, you will not find a better and more powerful online course on manifestation than that. So if you are ready, if that is something that you want to do, then click the link in the description and go and enroll in that course. In the next video, we'll go into more detail into how to lower the volume of the outside world so that reprogramming, that new memory that we want to install, happens so much faster. So please like and subscribe to this video so that you are notified of that next video, because it's not one that you would want to miss. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.